is a close-range brawler whose greatest strengths lie in his ability to chain together huge amounts of damage and break through his opponent's defenses with an overwhelming amount of pressure. While he might lack the mobility of your typical rushdown character, Kiryu's tools allow him to close gaps and punish poor placement with a variety of powerful grab attacks, meaning Kiryu also doubles as a close-range grappler. While his damage output can be some of the highest in the game, Kiryu's strengths are balanced by some notable weaknesses, namely his limited range and his inability to recover well. Kiryu's lack of projectiles also means that he might struggle to get in close to his opponent should they be able to hold off his approach, either through spacing or walling him out. As a Kiryu player, it's important for you to always be aware of your positioning and your resources, taking every opportunity to close the gap between you and your opponent and unleash huge bursts of damage, just like in the actual Yakuza games. Kiryu stands as a large humanoid character, his size being comparable to that of Kazuya. As the Yakuza games are very combat focused, a lot of Kiryu's basic elements can easily transfer to a fighting game like Smash Bros. Kiryu's basic stance is based on his traditional dragon/legend stance, while his walk, run, and block are all the same as their Yakuza counterparts. For his role, Kiryu will perform his lunge ability, while his sidestep is based on the dodge weaving style from his rush stance from Zero and Kiwami. Kiryu can use unique attacks out of this weaving dodge, just like he can in the games mentioned above, but I'll discuss that more when we get into his actual normal attacks. Aside from his basic characteristics, Kiryu has a unique character attribute that plays into the Yakuza series' combat structure, and that's the fact that the player can hold the shield and press B in order to have Kiryu activate his lock-on feature, which will grant him an automatic turnaround system in one-on-one fights. In the Yakuza series, while combat is normally freeform in a 3D environment, the player can hold a button in order to lock on to the closest enemy, which allows Kiryu to use unique attacks that he can't use normally. Here in Smash, this system will simply just give Kiryu the automatic turnaround systems of characters like Ryu and Kazuya, and it can be turned off at any time by holding shield and pressing B again. There's also no limit to the abilities Kiryu can use, meaning he can perform moves that he once couldn't use without being locked on in freeform combat. In terms of mobility options, Kiryu has 2 jumps, lacking any additional movement options. Kiryu's character mechanic is the main mechanic of the Yakuza series, the heart and soul of Kiryu's moveset no matter what game or style he's in, and that's his iconic heat meter. In Yakuza, heat is gained as Kiryu deals damage, with more heat being gained from finishing blows than simple combo strikes. Once enough heat has been gained, the bar itself will begin to glow, as will Kiryu, this being shown as a glowing aura around Kiryu's body. At this point, Kiryu has entered heat mode, giving him access to heat actions, with the heat action the player gets being dependent on their surroundings. Each heat move will use up a chunk of Kiryu's heat gauge, but Kiryu can also lose this heat by taking damage, meaning a combo might be enough to drain your heat meter completely. In Smash Bros., Kiryu's heat meter will take its appearance from Yakuza Kiwami 2, this bar being outlined by a silver dragon. Kiryu will fill this gauge the same way he does in Yakuza, and once he enters heat mode, his smash attacks will gain armor. This heat meter is split into 4 segments, featuring 3 heat bars that will fill up blue, and 1 larger bar at the end that will fill up red. And once this final bar is filled, Kiryu will enter a unique state of heat mode introduced in Yakuza 5, Climax Heat Mode. This state will change Kiryu's aura from a glowing blue to a vibrant red, much like the Dragon Styles aura in Yakuza Kiwami. And in this state, Kiryu will gain a defensive buff as long as he maintains it. On top of that, Kiryu will gain access to an extra powerful attack known as Essence of Extreme Dragon. While it's an insanely powerful stock closer, this move will exhaust Kiryu's entire heat meter, meaning he will lose both the armor bonus of being in heat and the defense bonus of being in climax heat. How the player can use these explosive attacks will be discussed in further detail when we get to Kiryu's specials. So for now, let's move on and begin by talking about his normals. When it comes to choosing a definitive fighting style for Kiryu, there's quite a bit of contention. Some fans think that a purely vanilla Dragon Kiryu is the best option as it is the most common fighting style Kiryu has had throughout the Yakuza series. Some fans believe that the style system introduced in Yakuza 0 is the best choice as it adds a ton of versatility to Kiryu as a character. For this moveset, however, I've decided to take things in a rather unique direction. The Kiryu I've designed for this moveset doesn't use any of these options, but instead utilizes a refined playstyle that will combine abilities that Kiryu and other playable characters in the Yakuza series have utilized since the series' inception, turning this Kiryu into the ultimate version of the character in order to appease everyone. While he might use a huge variety of attacks from his different styles over the years, the base for Kiryu's combat in Smash Bros. Is based on the Dragon style introduced in Yakuza 6 and refined in Yakuza Kiwami 2. This being the style that I feel meshes not only the best with the gameplay of Smash Bros., but also has the best feel and control out of all of Kiryu's main styles. Kiryu's neutral combo is his iconic Rush combo, which is a 4-hit string using a flurry of quick-hitting punch attacks. While not overly strong on its own, this combo is designed to work in tandem with Kiryu's standard special, which will add powerful finishing strikes to this combo and allow Kiryu to deal tons of damage off of a rather quick attack. This will be discussed in more detail once we get into his specials, but keep in mind that Kiryu's neutral combo is a major part of his game plan here in Smash Bros. While Rush combo is what the player gets if they use neutral combo normally, holding the A button will give Kiryu a unique neutral combo attack in the form of Tornado Kick. As the player holds the A button, Kiryu's body will begin to glow a bright blue, this being the visual cue that a charge attack is being used. If the player releases the A button while in this state, Kiryu will unleash a flurry of rapid hitting kicks, this charged jab being able to combo into itself much like that of Rush combo, as will it work in tandem with his standard special. This combo's strength over Rush combo is its rapid attack speed and that it's easy to use, as there's no variations to remember outside of whether you stop on button 1, 2, or 3. Kiryu's forward tilt is Dragon Straight, a far-reaching roundhouse kick that can cover a solid range. A reference to the extra hit of classic Dragon's Rush combo, this move is best used as a spacing tool, as it cannot combo into neutral special. Kiryu's up tilt is Dragon Axe, a double hitting kick that hits both high and low, the second hit acting as a launcher or, if the opponent is crouching or below Kiryu, a spike. This move will stay active until Kiryu's foot comes back down to the ground, meaning it can possibly be used to spike opponents off the ledge. Kiryu's down tilt is Dragon Sweep, Kiryu performing a low-hitting sweep kick that will knock out his opponent's balance and launch them up into the air. This move is originally used by Shun Akiyama, a close friend of Kiryu and a playable character in both Yakuza 4 and Yakuza 5. Kiryu's dash attack is the first move Kiryu uses that is a reference to one of his alternate fighting styles introduced in Yakuza 0, which is the iconic Beast Charge. Covering his face, Kiryu will rush forward and bowl through any opponent in his path, this move dealing heavy damage and acting as a kill move. Anyone who has played Yakuza 0 has probably seen Mr. Shakedown use this move on them one too many times. However, while it's powerful, it is not a move that does well against shields, as Kiryu is stuck in a recovery state for a long time after the move ends. But even so, it's simply best to just dodge the attack then punish it with an attack of your own, for if you choose to shield, you might end up getting hit by a Beast Charge's follow-up attack, the Bear Hug. If the player taps their grab button while in the middle of Beast Charge, Kiryu will lower his arms and perform a small dash forward, grabbing anyone up in his way in a grip so tight that it will shatter their spine, this throw causing the caught opponent to go into a crumple state, much like getting hit by Kazuya's Demon God Fist, essentially leaving them wide open to further beatings from the Dragon of Dojima. While this follow-up is very powerful, it's offset by being very slow on the recovery and being very easy to punish if it misses. Kiryu also has access to some unique normal attacks that can only be performed in tandem with other actions, such as while blocking or while dodging. While blocking an incoming attack, pressing the A button while in hit stun will have Kiryu perform the Komaki parry, a backhanded strike that will deal minimal damage and push the opponent back. This move is to mainly help Kiryu push back opponents that are trying to rush him down, and while it might help in a pinch, characters with long-range weapons might be able to bait this out and counter with a disjointed strike. While rush weaving with his sidestep, the player can push the A button in order to have Kiryu perform an advancing hook punch, this attack being hard to counter thanks to its very quick startup speed. While great at catching mistakes in the neutral, this attack lacks knockback, much like a majority of Rush Styles attacks. For his get-up attack, Kiryu will perform a spinning kick, all while performing a leg sweep for his ledge attack. smash attacks are based on some of the more powerful rush combo finishers Kiryu has used over the years, each of these smash attacks having additional follow-ups to give them extra damage. Kiryu's forward smash is Dragon Flip, Kiryu performing a powerful roundhouse kick that will transition into a wide-hitting flip attack, this move pushing Kiryu forward in order to deal huge amounts of damage. While it's the strongest of Kiryu's smash attacks, it's also the most unsafe thanks to the startup and cooldown of the flipping strike. Still, if you're fighting Kiryu, it's important to be careful, as since these moves are excellent at guard breaking in Yakuza, these moves do a ton of shield damage here in Smash Bros. Kiryu's up smash is Dragon Uppercut, Kiryu performing a powerful upward punch that comes out quick and can launch the caught foe with heavy force. Should the player input the smash attack again while in the middle of the uppercut, Kiryu will transition into a double-fisted hammer strike that will knock the opponent into the floor, causing them to bounce up into the air. Finally, Kiryu's down smash is Ishin Crusher, Kiryu stepping forward and bringing down his fist in a hammer-like motion, this move coming out on only one side but dealing heavy damage to compensate for it. If the player inputs the smash attack again, Kiryu will not follow up with a secondary attack, but will instead perform a command grab in the form of leg smash, Kiryu grabbing his opponent by the leg and smashing them into the floor behind him in order to launch them away. This command grab needs to be properly timed if used in tandem with Ishin Crusher, but it's much easier to land if the opponent blocks the first attack. While the gameplay of Yakuza is mainly focused around grounded combat, Kiryu surprisingly has almost enough jump-oriented attacks to fill out an aerial attack moveset. Kiryu's neutral air is Triple Dragon, Kiryu unleashing a pair of rapid hitting kicks before unleashing a downward axe kick to finish off the combo. This is Kiryu's standard running charge attack from Yakuza 6 and Kiwami 2, and its long-lasting hitbox makes it excellent for landing with. Kiryu's forward air is Brawler Dropkick, this heavy-hitting double-foot strike coming out slow but being a solid stock closer. On top of its damage, the first few frames of its startup are fully armored, allowing it to easily win aerial exchanges if timed properly. Kiryu's up air is Double Jumping Kick, Kiryu performing a double hitting kick that will launch foes after the second attack. This move is a reference to the move of the same name used by Akira in the Virtua Fighter series, a nod to Yakuza's connections to said franchise, both through developers and its constant appearances via the arcade. Kiryu's down air is Spinning Axe Kick, Kiryu flipping forward and unleashing a wide-hitting downward strike. This move will start high and end low, giving it not only a wide area of effect, but it's also able to start spiking halfway through the initial attack animation. Just don't go landing with this move, as it's not only unsafe on shield, but it's also slow on the recovery. Finally, Kiryu's back air is a Spinning Back Kick. Much like the roundhouse back airs of the fighting game characters, this move is an excellent way to close out stocks and catch poor placement in the neutral. Kiryu will grab using his right hand, holding his opponent in place with intense grip as he performs a pummel using his left hand. While holding the opponent, the player can move backwards and forwards with their opponent in tow. But unlike the likes of Donkey Kong's cargo throw, Kiryu cannot turn around while holding his opponent as well as not being able to jump. Thanks to the importance of throwing in Yakuza's gameplay, Kiryu already has a well-defined list of throws to use in a fighting game. So many in fact that I had to pick and choose which ones fit the best. Also, like Incineroar, Kiryu's throws deal a lot of damage, making a majority of them perfect for closing out a stock. Kiryu's forward throw is Dragon Kick, Kiryu pulling the opponent in close before launching them away with a heavy-hitting kick. This is Kiryu's standard strong attack throw while in Dragon stance, and while it has kill potential, it is far from his strongest throw. Kiryu's up throw is Beast Cracker, Kiryu picking the opponent up by the collar before swinging them over his head and into the floor, causing them to launch upwards into the air. Should any opponents be standing near Kiryu when he uses this throw, they can get hurt by the swing. Kiryu's down throw is Brawler Drop, Kiryu grabbing his opponent by the back of the head before slamming them face first into the ground, dealing serious damage and leaving the opponent in a knockdown state, much like Snake's down throw. While this might not be considered a combo throw, Kiryu is certainly capable of following up this throw with a potential attack, should his player read his opponent's get-up option successfully. Finally, Kiryu's back throw is Legend Toss, Kiryu kneeing his opponent in the stomach before spinning them around and launching them behind him. Introduced in Yakuza 6, this throw will deal damage to any opponent near Kiryu when he's spinning around and while tossing the opponent away, this throw being designated as Kiryu's kill throw. Kiryu's special attacks are designed to flesh out the effectiveness of his normals, all while providing him with unique tools that will help him hold his ground and push through his opponent's defenses. While he might not have a tool for every situation, Kiryu is more than equipped to stand his ground with any and all characters he might come across. Kiryu's neutral special is split into several different moves, all of which are dependent on specific factors ranging from normal attacks to grabs to even while getting hit. The first of Kiryu's standard special attacks is Strong Attack. This move working as a simple strong hitting attack that Kiryu can use both on the ground and in the air. In Yakuza, combat is split between two main buttons, those being the small weaker attacks and the strong attacks. In order to deal the most damage, you have to use them in tandem with each other. At its core, strong attack doesn't do very much aside from an above average percent of damage on hit, but its quick startup speed and long-lasting hitbox make it quite useful in the neutral. However, using strong attack in tandem with Kiryu's neutral combos brings out the full potential of these attacks, this being Kiryu's second standard special, Finishing Blow. At any point during Rush Combo, the player can input the B button in order to perform a unique combo-ending attack, these moves being flashy and dealing heavy damage in the process. Finishing Blow's two attacks will also change between each hit of the Rush Combo, going from leaping strikes to a sweeping combo and even more in between. While Finishing Blow's attacks are strong, they are not very useful against shields, meaning that if they're blocked, it might end poorly for Kiryu. However, there is a way to truly make these attacks pack a punch, and that's with Kiryu's third standard special, Charging Blows. In exchange for a much slower startup, Kiryu can build up energy before unleashing his finishing blow, causing the attacks to deal roughly double the shield pressure and 1.3 times their original damage. This might allow for Kiryu to bait out a counterattack from the foe, but this charge-up period makes it much easier for opponents to parry this move, and no matter how much shield damage an attack might have, parries deny all incoming damage. While Kiryu's combo-oriented abilities are strong, they cannot keep him from getting hit once his opponents break through his defenses, but should his player be willing to take a risk, they might be able to stop his opponent's beating with Kiryu's fourth neutral special, Brawler Counter. In Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami, Kiryu's brawler style is capable of performing a headbutt attack should the player time a button press right as they're getting hit. This move works nearly identical in Smash Bros., with Kiryu knocking back the opponent who hits him with a head smash. Brawler Counter's damage is moderate at best, but if the player holds the B button, they can increase this move's knockback in order to push the opponent back further. While this might be considered a powerful tool if used properly, Kiryu cannot counter attacks that would send him flying past the edge of the screen, this move being best at countering rapid strikes and weaker blows. When Kiryu has amassed enough heat in his heat meter, Kiryu is capable of performing his fifth neutral special, Heat Actions. These unique and powerful cinematic attacks are fully armored and nearly impossible to interrupt once they've started, but these moves will only be able to hit one opponent at a time, and each heat action can only be activated under specific conditions. In Yakuza, the player is alerted once a heat action is usable by an icon that will pop up on the screen. In Smash, this will work virtually the same, the heat icon appearing either above the opponent attacking or above Kiryu. In total, Kiryu can perform 7 different heat actions, and here's how you perform them. Kiryu's first heat action can be performed if Kiryu is grounded and within a certain radius of his closest opponent, this being Essence of Sumo Slapping. This will have Kiryu rush forward and catch the opponent in an uppercut attack, Kiryu unleashing 2 brutal slap attacks before slapping the opponent into the floor, launching them away with serious force. This is the only one of Kiryu's heat actions that doesn't require an additional state or action to perform. In Yakuza, a majority of heat actions are performed while you have the opponent in a grab state. And here in Smash, Kiryu can perform 4 different heat moves while grabbing his opponent, the move you get being dependent on which direction you hold on the analog stick before inputting B. Holding forward while grabbing will have Kiryu perform Essence of Beatdown, Kiryu performing 2 heavy-hitting punches to his opponent before smashing them with a headbutt attack, launching the opponent away with force and dealing some solid damage. Holding up while grabbing will have Kiryu perform Essence of Relentless Barrage. Kiryu stunning his opponent before delivering a series of tricky feints and punishing blows, all before ending with a brutal uppercut strike to send the opponent soaring skywards. Holding back while grabbing will have Kiryu perform Essence of Backdrop. Kiryu grabbing his opponent by the head before throwing his momentum forward and falling backwards with his opponent in tow. This heavy-hitting attack launching the opponent straight up into the air. Holding down while grabbing will have Kiryu perform Essence of Torment. Kiryu grabbing his opponent tightly around the shoulders. In a flash, Kiryu will pull outwards, dealing serious damage before transitioning to bashing his opponent's face in. At the end of it all, Kiryu will toss the opponent away. While this has the weakest knockback of all of Kiryu's grab actions, it does the most damage, by far. Also, as this is Smash Brothers, the segment of Kiryu dislocating his opponent's shoulders is dulled down for good boys and girls. Kiryu's 6th heat action can be performed while in the middle of an incoming attack from his opponent, this being the Komaki reversal. Catching the opponent's arm, Kiryu will elbow his opponent in the face before turning them around and judo flipping them into the floor in front of him, dealing heavy damage and launching the opponent straight away from him. This is Kiryu's most useful heat action overall, but its precise timing might make it rather hard to land in a match, especially in an online environment. Finally, Kiryu's 7th heat action can only be performed when standing near a downed opponent, this being the Essence of Knockdown. This will have Kiryu wind up a punch before driving his fist into his downed opponent's face, causing them to spike off the floor and launch up into the air. Since this move can only be used while the opponent is laying on the ground, it might be difficult to properly set up this attack. But keep in mind that Kiryu's down throw will leave his opponent in a knockdown state, so if you have enough heat, you might be able to string into this move from a grab. While these heat actions each have their uses in Kiryu's game plan, it's only once his heat meter reaches its max capacity that Kiryu gets to truly unleash his game-changing ability, Essence of Extreme Dragon. Unlike his heat actions, which require unique inputs per move, Kiryu's climax heat action can be performed from multiple inputs, either while standing within a certain radius, during a grab, or during an incoming attack. Once this attack starts, Kiryu will grab his opponent by crushing both of his fists against his opponent's skull, all before leaping up and bringing down the opponent on his knee to send them flying. Once concluded, Kiryu's heat meter will be drained entirely and must be built up from scratch. But trust me when I say that this move's damage is more than worth it. While all of these abilities sound enticing, they require Kiryu to get in close to his opponent in order to capitalize on their damage. And while his mobility isn't sluggish, Kiryu's base stats might not be enough to close the distance on their own. Thankfully, Kiryu has tools in the Yakuza series to weave in and out of danger at blinding speed, and he brings it with him to Smash Brothers with his side special, Quick Step. Quick Step's greatest strength in the Yakuza series was its ability to allow Kiryu to dodge enemy attacks and reposition in order to counter with an attack of his own. However, seeing as how Yakuza's fights take place in a 3D environment and Smash is 2D, some aspects of Quick Step will need to be adjusted in order to have it work properly in this type of gameplay. In Smash, Quick Step works quite similarly to Kazuya's Crouch Dash, giving Kiryu momentary immunity to projectiles. But unlike the Crouch Dash, Kiryu is not invulnerable during the entirety of the move, but only the first few active frames. This means that the player in control of Kiryu has to time quick steps properly as opposed to recklessly spamming them in order to approach. Kiryu can quick step up to 3 times in a single string, and is not locked into a single direction while quick stepping, meaning the player can alternate from forward to forward again with no downsides. However, if quick step is used multiple times in a row, the amount of times Kiryu can quick step will quickly degrade, meaning the player can't endlessly dash around and expect to not be punished for it. When Kiryu enters heat mode, quick step will instantly be upgraded into a variation known as rush step. This mode improving quick step startup and invulnerability duration while also giving Kiryu an extra dodge. While that may sound enticing, quick stepping in succession while in rush step will drain Kiryu's heat meter. So unless you have a lot of heat to spare, it's best to use this move in a reserved manner. Kiryu is also capable of performing attacks out of Quick Step, with a unique attack while dashing forward and while dashing backwards, along with a third special move. While dashing forward, Kiryu will perform a rushing straight punch, and while dashing backward, Kiryu will perform a retreating roundhouse kick to knock opponents back. These two moves are mainly designed to punish poor neutral placement or get a cheeky hit on an eager opponent. but it's the third attack that will really keep the opponent on their toes. Kiryu's third quick-step attack is the Meteor Grab, which can be performed by using a grab while in the middle of a quick-step. This rushing grab will catch the opponent as Kiryu charges forward, moving a decent distance before launching them straight away. It should also be mentioned that Meteor Grab can only be performed during quick-step if Kiryu is advancing forward, as Kiryu cannot grab out of a backdash. Kiryu's recovery special is Dragon Charge, a unique move that while it's mainly designed to recover, it can also be used as a powerful command grab. Originally being titled Mounting Grab, Kiryu will let out a roar before rushing in one of 5 different directions, meaning forward, backward, straight up to the left, and up to the right. While it might not cover a lot of range on its own, this move will instantly snap to the ledge once it's in range, and once an opponent is caught in its grasp, it will greatly increase this move's vertical recovery. With his caught opponent in tow, Kiryu will perform a leaping suplex, bringing the opponent down to the ground head first and dealing heavy damage. Of course, this is all dependent on whether or not Kiryu actually manages to grab an opponent. But since Dragon Charge doesn't deal any damage on its own outside of the command grab, this throw is very easy to two-frame and counter at the ledge. Kiryu's down special is Counter Stance, this move having Kiryu take a defensive stance with one hand outstretched in front of him. In this state, Kiryu will automatically counter all melee attacks that hit him with a powerful judo throw, his counter state lasting a bit longer than your average counter in order to compensate for the fact that it only counters from the front. However, while the counter state is powerful in its own right, Kiryu's down special has a secondary form that far exceeds its overall strength. If down special is used within a 4-frame window of an incoming attack, Kiryu will instead perform his most powerful ability in the Yakuza series, the Komaki Tiger Drop. This insanely powerful counter attack hits like a truck and sends opponents flying far, even in early percents. But thanks to its small active window, it might be quite difficult to consistently perform this move when in a match. It's best to practice this move's timing before trying to use it seriously, as once mastered, the Komaki Tiger Drop can turn the tide of any battle. While the Komaki Tiger Drop's strength is incredible, it is but one of Kiryu's powerful counters. For if the player times an incoming attack while pressing down B and their grab button at the same time, Kiryu will instead perform the Komaki Parry, a powerful tool that, while it won't have any knockback, will leave the foe stricken in a stun state after the hit. Next up is the Final Smash, and until recently, it was quite hard to pick a definitive move to use for Kiryu. Thankfully, Kiryu's appearance in Yakuza Like a Dragon has given us one of the best Final Smashes we could possibly ask for. This is Essence of the Dragon God. To start the Final Smash, Kiryu will toss off his suit jacket and shirt, exposing his dragon tattoo underneath. With a loud roaring taunt, Kiryu will challenge his opponents to step up and fight him, all opponents within a certain radius instantly turning to face Kiryu with an exclamation mark above their heads, a reference to the notification that you've been seen by enemies in Yakuza 6 and Kiwami 2. This will then trigger the cinematic Final Smash, with Kiryu's opponents starting to rush him down. As his opponents close the distance, Kiryu will build up heat before letting it burst outwards, a massive blue dragon appearing behind him much like the one seen in his summon in Like a Dragon. At this point, Kiryu will start to take his opponents down one by one, his strikes combining with the rushing blows from the dragon at his back. To conclude the Final Smash, Kiryu will perform one final flip kick, slamming his foot into the floor so hard that it creates a huge burst of blue energy to rush up from the ground, the dragon flying out of the hole and taking his opponents up into the sky with it. As the screen shifts back to normal, Kiryu will put back on his suit jacket and shirt as the fight will continue on. Kiryu's victory theme is his iconic theme introduced all the way back in Yakuza 1, Receive You. Almost any of the Yakuza series' main themes could easily work as victory themes, but Receive You is arguably the most iconic theme in the entire series. Victory animation number 1 is based on Kiryu's acquisition of the dragon style in Yakuza 0, featuring his iconic knuckle cracking, a punch combo, and ending with the iconic pose seen on the cover of the original Yakuza. Victory animation number 2 will have a familiar face pop up, as just as the fight concludes, Majima will show up and challenge Kiryu to a fight. No matter where Kiryu goes, there's a good chance that Majima isn't very far behind. Victory animation number 3 will have Kiryu brush himself off, giving a passing remark as he walks past the screen, going back to business as usual. When you fight as much as Kiryu does, chances are fights in Smash don't really have as much of an impact as you think it would. Finally, Kiryu has a special 4th victory animation, which will have the camera show off Kiryu's dragon tattoo before it pans up to have Kiryu turn back to look at the camera. This pose is a reference to the covers of both Yakuza 2 and Kiwami 2, and this victory animation will only show up if Kiryu wins with either his final smash or when the player uses a specific color. Kiryu's first taunt is his standard taunt from the Yakuza series, waving his hand in an approach me motion as he tells his opponent to approach him. This taunt will also build a bit of heat when it's used, just like it does in the actual Yakuza titles. Kiryu's second taunt is another common animation used by Kiryu, and that is his knuckle crack. This is actually the animation that plays when Kiryu shifts into brawler style in Zero and Kiwami, but it works just as well as a taunt. Finally, Kiryu's third taunt will have Haruka appear in the background, who will cheer on her uncle as Kiryu gives a reaffirming thumbs up and thank you. Haruka isn't a stranger to watching Kiryu pound someone's skull in, so it's only fitting she'd cheer him on here in Smash as well. Kiryu's colors are all references to the huge variation of outfits Kiryu has worn over the years, and there's so many to choose from that picking and choosing was pretty difficult. But I think I chose the ones that would work the best in a game like Smash Bros. Kiryu's first color is his standard appearance, featuring a gray suit and pants over a deep red shirt. Kiryu's second color will feature his suit from Yakuza 0, changing out a gray suit for a pure white one and an orange undershirt with chain light decorations on it. Kiryu's third color is his funeral outfit from Yakuza Kiwami, featuring a full black suit and tie along with a white undershirt and a pair of aviator glasses. While these glasses might have been used to hide his identity, they make Kiryu have an uncanny resemblance to a certain fiercest warrior. Kiryu's fourth color will have him don a fully golden suit and black undershirt, this stylish jacket being a reference to the Novarish enemies in the Yakuza series. And on top of looking stylish, this outfit has a unique taunt that will have Kiryu toss out money, a reference to Yakuza 0. Kiryu's fifth color is based on his comedian outfit from Yakuza Kiwami 2. Kiryu swapping out his suit jacket and shirt for a blue jacket, white shirt, and a red tie. On top of that, Kiryu will also wear a large pair of red glasses. Kiryu's sixth color is based on Kiryu's secondary outfit from Yakuza 3, featuring a red decorated Hawaiian shirt while he wears his familiar pants and shoes. Kiryu's seventh color is based on an alternate costume the player can unlock once they've completed Yakuza Kiwami, which is known as Mad Dog Kiryu. This will let Kiryu don the outfit of his best bud, Goro Majima, featuring a pair of black leather pants and shoes and his iconic snakeskin jacket. Finally, Kiryu's eighth color is Shirtless Kiryu, his iconic dragon tattoo on full display. If the player uses this color, they can get Kiryu's special fourth victory animation without using a final smash. Also, when Kirby absorbs Kiryu, he'll gain a copy of Kiryu's hair and eyebrows, all while gaining access to Strong Attack. This straight kick has minimal reach thanks to Kirby's stubby legs, but it's still useful as a get-off-me tool. Whether it be Smash Bros., Tekken, or Virtua Fighter, Kiryu truly is a character that feels like he's built to be in a fighting game. Thanks to Yakuza taking the world by storm as of 2017, it feels as if everyone is clamoring to see the Dragon of Dojima make his debut. But with the people in charge of the Yakuza series being a little behind the times with their way of thinking, it doesn't look as if that debut is going to be anytime soon. For those of you who are uninformed, the director of the Yakuza titles has essentially forbid Kiryu from being featured in any fighting game titles as Kiryu, in quotes, doesn't hit women. Of course, this reasoning is rather poor for multiple reasons, as not only has Kiryu done just that in both his home franchise and in crossover titles, but there's a difference between casual violence in a consensual fight between two skilled fighters. If anything, it almost feels like denying a woman a fight simply because they're a woman is disrespectful, especially when you remember that Kiryu learned one of his fighting styles from a woman. Regardless, I'd love to see Kiryu added to any fighting game, not just Smash Brothers. I'm not particularly picky on that front, and should we finally get to see the day where the Dragon of Dojima finally becomes a playable character in a fighting game, it'll truly be a glorious thing. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe, as there will be more content coming in the future. Also, follow me over on Twitter to keep track of what's coming next. I'll be seeing you all again real soon, so until then, take care, stay safe, and have a good one.